What's up, everyone? It's Tim J here to give my predictions for UFC 264, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, number three. There's barely anyone who watches my videos, but if you have been watching, I'm going at above 80% for my best bets for my first couple of cards that I've done videos for. And yeah, I hope to continue that pretty good run that I've been on. So, without messing around anymore, let's get to it. First fight of the card, Alan Amedovski versus Yao Zong Hu. So, both these guys coming off two losses. It's a bottom of the barrel UFC fight. In terms of my notes for this fight, without disrespecting either guy, I effectively wrote down that Amedovski is a white belt on the ground, and Yao Zong Hu, and Hu was a white belt on the feet. So both these guys, look, I don't see either of them being champion one day. I think they've got significant holes in their game. But in terms of who I'm picking, basically going to go with Hugh because he's the younger fighter. We haven't seen these guys in a little while, and I expect him, because he's younger, to have made more improvements in his game. So I could see Amdovsky coming out and knocking Hugh out in the first round, but I think it's going to be a pretty grindy type of fight. I think Hugh's going to push him up against the cage, land leg kicks, land just basic 1-2 combinations. And I think he'll do that en route to a unanimous decision victory. But from a betting perspective, I'm staying away from this fight. You can't bet on fighters that you haven't been able to see much of, and I expect Hugh to be a different fighter in this fight. So I'm picking him, but not betting the fight. Second fight, we have Zalgas Zumagulov versus Jerome Rivera. I'll keep this one simple. I don't think Jerome Rivera's UFC caliber yet. He has potential, but he's still so green. Significant holes in his game. His takedown defense is almost non-existent, and he's shown to be a bit chinny, even though he has fought some guys who are upper weight class than him because he's been fighting on short notice. Yeah, I think Zalgas. I actually feel like Zalgas beat Halion Paiva. I think he's got the more well-rounded game, and I think he's going to be able to either win the striking or keep the striking even, and then get takedowns and get enough top control time during the fight to basically win the fight. So I'm going to take Zalgas by decision, but he's a heavy favourite, like $1.30 favourite. No way I'm betting that. Depending on what the prop bet is for Zalgas by unanimous decision, I might have a small bet on that, but even that would be risky as well because Jerome Rivera is a little bit chinny. Moving on, Amari Akhmedov versus Brad Tavares. So this is a fight that I've got a very strong lean on. I'm taking Brad Tavares. I think effectively Akhmedov's game is to swing big hooks and then land takedowns and do ground and pound or look for a submission. He's got a significant hole in his game, which is his gas tank. Basically, if he has to be made to wrestle hard for a few of his takedown attempts, or if he gets some to the ground but then they get up or they make him really work for it, he runs out of gas basically 6-7 minutes into the fight. Brad Tavares has got really good takedown defense, and as well as that, he fought Antonio Carlos Jr. last fight, who was basically just trying to take him down the whole fight. So that would be a really good experience for him. He did really well in that fight. I expect him to replicate a similar performance. I think he's going to be able to stuff Akhmedov's takedowns, and I think Akhmedov's going to be gassed by about the middle of the second round, and then I think Tavares is live for the knockout. So I'm going to take him by, I'm going to say second round knockout, but if he doesn't land the punch, then I think he'll easily win a unanimous decision victory. So I'm taking Tavares, and that is another one of my best bets. Next fight of the card, Jennifer Maia versus Jessica Ai. So when I saw the odds for this fight, I was quite surprised. I really think the odds should be $1.90 for each of these girls. I see it as a very even fight. Clearly, I think Jennifer Maia, I think she's clearly got a better ground game, and she's a strong girl. She did really well in that second round against Valentina Shevchenko, got her to the ground, had some good top control time. And I think basically because of that second round, that's why she's coming in as a $1.50 favourite. But in terms of the striking, I think Jessica Ai's got slightly better striking than her. And I don't see Jennifer Maia having like a really significant wrestling advantage. So I see this fight mostly being a stand-up fight. And if it's mostly going to be a stand-up fight, I favour Jessica Ai there. So I definitely don't think she should be a $2.60 underdog. I think there's great value there. I'm betting on her. I'm going to say it is the best bet. Because of the value, it is the best bet. Some people were worried about her weight cut. She was dealing with a gallbladder issue, which she's not dealing with anymore, so I don't expect that to be a problem. Yeah, so I'm taking Jessica Ai, taking her to win by unanimous decision, and I'm betting her. Next fight, we have Ryan Hall versus Ilia Topuria. This is a fight where I'm going to feel really dumb if I'm wrong, because it seems just about everyone is on Ilia Topuria. I understand why. I bet him in both of his last two fights. I bet him as an underdog against Yusuf Zalal. He cashed for me there. I bet him against, I think it's Damon Jackson's his name. Blanking on the name a bit. I bet him there by knockout as well. And he came through on that. He's a really good young prospect. Got a good wrestling game. Got, quick, quick punches. Got some good power. It's just that Ryan Hall is Ryan Hall. He's got this really weird game. He barely ever gets hit. If people come near him, he just starts the Imanari roll. And he's shown that style to be effective in the UFC. I think Ilia Topuria, he's still very young. He hasn't had that many fights. And if I want to back him to beat someone like Ryan Hall, I just want to be able to see that there's someone who's dealt with a lot of, has had a lot of fights in their career and has the experience to be able to navigate the problems that Ryan Hall is going to throw up. So maybe I'm missing something and I'm completely wrong here, and Ilia Topuria just comes in and knocks out Ryan Hall, and it's a very easy fight. But I think he's got the style to win, and I think the $3 underdog price tag is off. So I'm betting Ryan Hall, picking Ryan Hall. I think he's either going to win by a submission, which will be a heel hook, or I think he's going to win a decision. It's definitely not a best bet, but I think at $3, I think the value's there, so I'm betting him there. Next fight of the card, Dricus du Plessis versus Trevin Giles. So, very good matchup. It's a close fight. I think a lot of people are going with Dricus du Plessis. I'm going with Trevin Giles here. I think basically, this fight comes down to the striking. I don't see, Duplessis' style is to come in and strike. Basically, he has got some submission wins but they're basically after he's hurt someone on the feet. So I think this is mostly going to be a striking battle. When I watched Duplessis' fights, I think the main difference between him and Giles is Duplessis, his striking is a little bit more rudimentary. So if you look at his striking, he's got a high guard, and his movement is very simple. So he'll move forward, move back, move forward, throw punch, move back. Sometimes he'll move back and throw a counter, but it's basically just moving, back and forward in straight lines. And in his fight with Roberto Soldic, who is a welterweight, and a very good one at that, Soldic was able to basically beat him with feints and movements. So Soldic would feint and then get Duplessis moving, and Duplessis would just move back and then he'd throw a punch. Or he'd throw a punch, then pull back and then throw a punch again. And Duplessis just wasn't able to deal with that. And I think Trevin Giles, he's a bit underrated. I think he's got really good boxing. Does have those 2 submission losses, but he was coming off an injury, and clearly his gas tank wasn't what it was supposed to be. Giles is on a 3-fight winning streak, beaten some good guys. I think his boxing and his movement is going to be the difference here. The bookies had him as a favourite to start when they opened the betting odds, and he's now an underdog. Potentially that could be bad, but I think there's value on him here at $2, so I'm betting Trevin Giles. It's not a best bet though. It is a risky bet. Duplessis, he's got more volume, so I think if the fight goes to the judges' scorecards, Duplessis is clearly in with a shot to take a unanimous decision victory, but I'm taking Trevin Giles here, and I think he's going to win by second round knockout. So that's my read on that fight. Next fight, we have Nico Price versus Michel Pereira. Yeah, this is a tough one to call. I've been pretty high on Michel Pereira. I thought he was I bet him against Chaos Williams because I thought Chaos Williams' style, while Chaos Williams has really big power and had some great knockouts over Morono and Al Hassan, I thought his striking was still pretty basic, and he's still pretty young in his career, Williams is. So I thought the movement of Pereira would trouble Williams, and it did, but it ended up being a really, really close fight, and Williams actually landed more significant strikes. And I think, if he had slightly more output in the first round, even, one more flurry, and if Pereira didn't land the takedown basically late in round 3, I think Williams would have won. So it was a really close fight. Pereira's got big power. He's got that, he's got that bounce style. So he holds his hands low, moves really far back, and then darts in, and then darts back out again. And then he also throws his jumping knees. But the problem is, and I saw it in the Chaos Williams fight, is because he holds his hands so low, when someone blitzes in on him, often he can be a bit, because he's got his hands so low, he can be really susceptible to getting hit. So, he's got his hands low and he was thinking about coming in, and Chaos Williams would come through and throw the hooks. And Pereira's kind of caught off guard, and he's trying to get his arms up, to put a guard up. And a lot of the times he was getting cracked by Williams. And I think clearly Williams, he's got really good power. My fucking screen just turned off. Lost my thought. Yeah, so Williams has got good power, but I think Pereira's got a good chin because Williams was cracking him a few times and couldn't put him down. But I think against Nico Price has come out and he just throws a lot of volume now and really heavy punches. I mean, that fight with Vicente Luque was just an absolute war, and I would see Luque like pretty much dominating Pereira. So I think Price has got the volume. It's got the volume to beat Pereira, and yeah, look, Pereira is definitely alive for the knockout because Nico Price's striking defense sucks, but yeah, he's got a good chin as well. So I'm taking Nico Price. I think he's good value at $2.40. I'm betting him there, but it's not a best bet. But I think there's value there, so I'm betting him. Oh, and I think Price will win by unanimous decision. Next fight of the night, Max Griffin versus Carlos Condit. Another really close fight. Max Griffin's looked pretty good as late, but it's come against, let's say, like average competition, not bad competition, but average competition. Carlos Condit, clearly, if Condit was in his prime, I think it would absolutely wash Max Griffin. I think what's going to happen in the fight, I think it's mostly going to be a stand-up fight. I thought that Griffin would... I thought he'd have a pretty clear advantage because of his wrestling. And I thought that he could keep it pretty even on the feet with Carlos Condit and then shoot takedowns. And because Condit doesn't have really good takedown offense, I think he could use that to steal rounds. But if you just look at Max Griffin's career, like that just hasn't been his kind of go-to style throughout his whole career. Like he's more than willing to stand and trade with people for 2 or 3 rounds even. And yeah, I just can't trust that he's going to be able to come in with that game plan to take down Condit. So I think it's going to be a fairly even fight, mostly a stand-up battle. And in that sense, I see Condit having slightly more dynamic striking. So I'm going to take him to win, close fight, potentially be a split decision, but I'm taking Condit to win by unanimous decision. Next fight of the night, Sean O'Malley versus Chris Moutinho. Yeah, Moutinho. I'll keep this one very simple. Moutinho isn't on Sean O'Malley's level. I'm surprised they gave him someone unexperienced as Moutinho. But look, I think clearly what the UFC is doing here is they're building up O'Malley. He's on a Conor McGregor card. They want to get him a highlight reel knockout. I think he will get that. His level's above Chris. So I'm going to take O'Malley to win first round knockout. But he's a huge favourite, like a $1.10 favourite. So there's no way I'm going to bet O'Malley. And even the knockout prop is like $1.45. So just no value there. So picking O'Malley, but staying away from a betting perspective. Irene Aldana versus Yana Kunitskaya. This really close fight, a clash of styles. Aldana's the boxer. She's going to want to keep the distance here and outbox Kunitskaya for 3 rounds. And Kunitskaya, she's got her very distinctive style. She wants to come in, push girls up against the cage, get in that kind of... It's almost like a Randy Couture, clinch, dirty boxing style. Yeah, so she wants to push girls up against the cage, use their height to keep them there and, knee them to the body, land little punches. Kunitskaya's super gritty, and I like that she's got, she knows what a game is, and I like that she comes in, to each fight, knowing what her game plan is going to be. So I think if she can implement her game plan, she can beat Aldana. I don't think either one of these girls is going to get a finish because they're both really tough. Well, look, it's a tough one. I'm going to take Kunitskaya by decision. I have Kunitskaya in a parlay from a previous UFC card. So um, yeah, she's the last leg of my parlay. So I'm not going to add any more value to that. But I am betting her here. But yeah, it's not a best bet, and it's a fairly small bet. But I'm taking Kunitskaya to win. It's decision. All right, third last fight of the night: Tai Tuivasa versus Greg Hardy. So, I mean, clearly the big factor in this fight is Greg Hardy's cardio. So, like, if you look at who he's fought in the UFC, like he's fought some good guys. He fought Alexander Volkov for 3 rounds, and he didn't look out of place there. Landed some good shots. Tai Tuivasa as well. He's fought some good guys, but I really think this fight should be $1.90 each. Tai Tuivasa's coming in as a $1.70 favourite. Clearly, his last two opponents, I don't think they're UFC caliber. Harry Hunsucker is basically a light heavyweight. He just comes out and throws punches and tries to knock you out for the first minute. And if he can't knock you out, then he's going to quit. And yeah, who else did Tai? Yeah, Tai Tuivasa also beat Stefan Struve, who at this point in his career is just fighting to get a paycheck, and effectively Tuivasa just pressured Struve and he quit after getting hit a few times. Yeah, so effectively, I think Greg Hardy is the better athlete. I think he's bigger, quicker, and yeah, I think his striking is a little bit better than Tuivasa's. So I think if his cardio is alright, it's a big risk. It's always a risk, but I think if his cardio is alright, I think he's going to be able to outland Tuivasa, and I think he'll do so on the way to unanimous decision victory. I'm betting Greg Hardy, but it's not a best bet. It is a risky bet. I'm hesitant to do so because of his cardio issues, because of his asthma, but yeah, I think he's still good value at $2.15. So I'm betting Greg Hardy. Co-main events of the evening: Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Thompson. Yeah, so I think Stephen Thompson is a better striker. Clearly everyone knows what his game is, but like throughout his career, he hasn't really struggled with guys who have just been able to like pin him up against the cage or take him down repeatedly to win a decision and stifle his striking game. So yeah, I think Thompson is levels above Gilbert Burns on the feet. Burns clearly has power. I think if Burns has a chance to win if he comes in with like a wrestling type game plan and shoots for takedowns, but that hasn't historically been the way he's won fights. So I think it's mostly going to be a stand-up affair, and I think Thompson's the better striker. So I think he'll pick him apart for 3 rounds, and he'll win a unanimous decision. I am betting Thompson, and this is another one of my best bets. Then we get to the co-main event. Sorry, not the co-main. We get to the main event of the evening: Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirer. This has been one of the hardest fights for me to predict, particularly because like everyone has an opinion on this fight, and it's such a huge fight. Everyone's going to be watching. It's got a great story. Conor McGregor wins the first fight easily by knockout. Dustin Poirier has just been grinding against the top level competition while McGregor was away boxing. Just been grinding away, developing a really like elite level game. And they have the rematch. everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people was on Conor McGregor. He was $1.30 favourite. If you're someone who went out and bet Dustin Poirier, like, hats off to you. That's an amazing bet at that, $3.50 value or whatever it was. It was at least $3 on bookies. So, yeah, if you did that, well done to you. Yeah, I am pretty biased in this fight because I'm a long time Conor McGregor fan, and I just I'm a fan, so I like to see him win. I like to see him succeed. I thought he would win against Poirier, but I didn't bet him because there was just no value at $1.30. Yeah, to be honest, I think the easy pick and the easy bet for this fight is to bet Dustin Poirier because of the way the last fight went. I think a lot of people have in their heads that it's just going to go a second way. It's going to go the same way that it did in the second fight. Poirier's leg kick's going to be too strong. He's going to be able to, you know, take Conor down once or twice, get him a bit tired, and then he's going to once again land one of those flurries that he did to win the second fight. But I think if I've learned anything from the years of watching mixed martial arts, I think no rematches are ever the same. And I think this fight is going to be a lot different to the second fight. I do worry that Conor McGregor is not training with elite level competition, but I think when it comes down to it, I think he is the slightly better striker. And the thing about Conor McGregor is he's so obsessive when it comes to the mixed martial arts game. Clearly, I think him being away in boxing meant that his mind wasn't as in tune with the MMA game as it was when he was on his rise up to the top. But I think after losing to Poirier, I think he's going to go away and have thought about his strategy for like every day since he lost that fight. I think it's going to come in with a different game plan. I think not only is he going to be checking leg kicks, but I think he's going to be throwing, checking calf kicks, but I think he's going to be throwing calf kicks of his own. And I think he's going to be really conscious of his cardio. And I see Conor McGregor either knocking out Dustin Poirier, or I think this could potentially be a very tactical 5-round fight. And if it goes to the judges' scorecards, I think Conor McGregor is going to win a decision. So I'm picking Conor McGregor. I'm going to take him by knockout. I'm betting him as well. It's definitely not a best bet. But I think he's the right side here. So yeah, it's a very tough fight to call though. All right, folks, 28 minutes done. One of the best cards of the year. Hope everyone enjoys it. For like the 3 people that watch my videos, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, put any comments you have. I'll definitely respond to your comments in the comment section. And yeah, hope everyone has a good week and enjoys the card on the weekend. All right, peace.